Hey, this is Brian again, and I'd like to ask you to do a favor. We can't do this work without people like you, so if you can, please like, share, subscribe, and tell your friends about Bring Back the Porch.
The first book I wrote was 570 pages, I think, and it was trying to incorporate John Cabot, a brief bit of Sebastian Cabot, and then Jacques Cartier, and then got into the Elizabethan period, even with Francis Drake and so on. Well, I sent it off for an evaluation with the Writers Union of Canada, and they said, no, you have 3 novels here at least. So then I had to back off. Well, by that time, I had already written a fair amount, say 150 pages on John Cabot and on Jacques Cartier. And then I broke it down and started to delve into the characters and build the story arc, separately.
This episode of Bring Back the Porch brought to you by Bernie Leahy, River Street Realty. Let's get you home. On this episode of Bring Back the Porch, I'm very pleased to welcome medicine and author Victor James Phillips. Welcome.
Thank you.
Now, as we were talking ahead of time, you've done something that I have always wanted to do, have thought about, never ever actually sat down and did it. You are a writer, and that was not your first career. What prompted you to want to write a book?
My mother was a writer and didn't write a book. She wrote all the time, journaling and so on. But one time she said to me about my life, she said, you should write a book. And I guess that kind of stuck with me. And I did. Kind of an autobiographical novel way back in 2018. But even before that, traveling probably in the 80s even, I had this urge to write, but I went on with my financial career and ended up in Toronto, Chicago, and so on. And but it never really left me, I guess. And the topic even that I had been thinking about back then was in this Renaissance age, it fascinated me. But then I traveled a lot, and it grew and grew and grew. And so I began this voyage here, really, I guess, in Bristol, because I ended up taking a ride on the cruise on the Matthew, John Cabot's boat, and met 2 people who were in charge of it. One a retired history professor from London, and the other a merchant seaman who actually crewed on the Matthew when they sailed the replica from Bristol to Bonavista back in 1997 to celebrate the 500th anniversary. So that kind of clinched it, I guess.
Yeah. Sitting down, finding the discipline to write. Is that the hardest part?
It's hard. It's I don't find it difficult. I want to write.
So the words just flow.
No, they don't. No, they don't. Some people write with an outline and then fill it in. I begin to just write, and I wish they would flow more than they do sometimes, because revision. But the thoughts come out, and then you build on that with the landscape and the characters, and you try to construct it in a continuous fashion, cohesive, I guess, which I guess some people can write a book from start to finish by just writing. I think, though, they say, other writers have told me, 12 revisions is not uncommon for a book that has some real content,
So you didn't ever suffer from writer's block?
No, actually. No, that hasn't happened to me.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, well, I think because you're stirred by the my enthusiasm for history, it gives me a grand framework for this sort of thing. And no, scratching my head, wondering what exactly I'm going to do next, maybe, but not really being blocked. No.
Now, the first book is called John Cabot, Commander.
Right.
It's, I guess, the first in the Spinners of Destiny series.
Right.
Why John Cabot? Like you said, you were on the Matthew, his replica boat that is docked in Bristol.
Yeah.
But you could have had any topic, any historical figure.
Yeah.
What was it about Cabot that captured your imagination?
Okay, that's another story. You see how this thing evolves. The first book I wrote was 570 pages, I think, and it was trying to incorporate John Cabot, a brief bit of Sebastian Cabot, and then Jacques Cartier, and then got into the Elizabethan period, even with Francis Drake and so on. Well, I sent it off for an evaluation with the Writers Union of Canada, and they said, no, you have 3 novels here at least. So then I had to back off. Well, by that time, I had already written a fair amount, say 150 pages on John Cabot and on Jacques Cartier. And then I broke it down and started to delve into the characters and build the story arc, separately for each. So I didn't really start with the Matthew. I did, but then I went and spent a considerable amount of time in Saint-Malo in Brittany, France. Saint-Malo is where Jacques Cartier was born, where he sailed from, and where he retired and died. But it's a fascinating little city in France on the coast. So all of that needed to be restructured completely, and that's how the John Cabot story ended up being first, because it was the first chronologically. What was really unexpected was the fascinating story of Sebastian Cabot.
That's his son.
That's his son, and the story of Sebastian is epic. The man lived to be 75 years old, and he was active from age 14 with ships and navigation, and just had a fascinating life of serving the Henry VII, King of England, and then moving to Spain and serving Fernando and Isabella, and rising to quite a position with the Spanish Empire, really. So it evolved,
That the age in which you are referencing was an amazing period in human history, because John Cabot, I think his first voyage to North America was 5 years after Columbus.
Right.
And I believe he also came from Genoa.
Right.
So do you have any idea, did they ever get to know each other? Did they ever compare notes?
Well, they didn't compare notes, no, but they certainly crossed paths at least twice. And they did lead somewhat parallel lives in many respects. John Cabot had to leave Venice because of financial difficulties and the threat of debtor's prison. It's pretty well documented that Christopher Columbus, or Cristobal Colon, as I call him in the book by his Spanish name, did something quite similar and went and fled to Portugal. So, but there's no doubt in my mind that John Cabot was inspired by the events that took place, because he was in Spain at the time that Columbus came back and reported a discovery of something.
Yeah, there is, I guess, some debate as to, like, he didn't discover Newfoundland, but he arrived there, I think, in 1497?
Correct.
Yeah, because the Vikings had been there.
The Vikings were there 500 years earlier, and as we know now with the archaeological evidence, there's no doubt that they were there, So, yes, true enough. And, of course, there's evidence that Europeans might have been other places too, before Columbus. So it's hard to say.
Yeah.
Well, certainly Columbus never did reach North America.
No, he was in the Caribbean.
Yeah, exactly.
In an island. I'm trying to remember which island.
Well, it was called Hispaniola. Yeah. It's where Dominican Republic and Haiti are now. Mm-hmm. He did probably reach the Isthmus of Panama, and he probably also got to the north coast of Venezuela, but not north to North America.
John Cabot, Commander, the book. Do you take some poetic license? Do you fill in some blanks?
Oh, you have to.
All historical.
You have to. I guess the discussion around that is really the question of what is historical fiction. And the minute you take what people call history and start to add characters or describe characters and give them personalities and give them dialogue especially, then you're into fiction. Mm-hmm. So the degree, of course, is varies. A novel like Pillars of the Earth, Ken Follett, is largely fiction because everything about it is fiction, almost, other than the setting and the date, maybe. But in this case, the dates, the voyages, the people are largely real. Some characters have been added to fill out the social interaction. And so I wouldn't put a percentage on it, what's real and what's fiction. But I call it a re-imaging or an imaging of what happened, both books, in fact. And there are questions as to what happened to John Cabot. Yeah. Some conjecture that is fairly sound, and I ran with one of the proposals. With the story of Sebastian Cabot in Spinners of Destiny book, it's much more substantial what he actually did, the trail of his career. Yeah.
What kind of research did you do for these books?
Well, libraries, archives, museums, talking to people, taking a cruise on the Matthew. But also then I had written the book, the big book, the 570-page one, and the only place I'd been is Bristol and St. Malo. And so I realized some things are missing here. I'm not able to write, so I took a trip from Lisbon to Seville, Valencia, Genoa, Milan, and Venice, and spent a couple of weeks in each place. So a lot of research in terms of getting a cultural feel, culture of the time, the layout of the cities. Fortunately, those cities haven't changed much. No. So you can imagine these characters on the streets and in the bars and in the settings. So I had the history. I have the chronological layout. I have the characters. Now I need, the scenes, the scenes of that took place in these cities and the.
Let's pause for a moment so we can share some exciting news. We're proud to announce that our work here at Bring Back the Porch is getting noticed. From October to the end of January, our videos and reels viewed more than 1 million times. Some of those viewers could be your customers, so sponsoring Bring Back the Porch is a great way to get your message in front of them too. If you'd like to support our work here at Bring Back the Porch, we ask you to go to our website at bringbacktheporch.com and follow the links. Thank you for your support. Yeah. How much of the historical record were you able to find, particularly with Cabot, because you say is some of it was kind of spotty.
Mm-hmm.
And did you ever have a, oh my goodness moment?
Interesting. Well, yes. In fact, the way the story ends with John Cabot was, and I'm not going to give it away.
No, we want people to read the book.
But it was definitely a oh my gosh, this is really something,
Yeah.
and this is worthy of a story, and the same thing happened with Sebastian throughout, really. My gosh, this guy has been overlooked by historians, and he was an important cartographer and a learned navigator. Rose, to levels that, well, I knew nothing, I guess, and I don't think very many people know very much about Sebastian Cabot, But anyway, so yes, in the end, lots of, oh my goodness, moments.
Yeah. What kind of tools do you use when you're writing? It used to be that, you sat down with a pad of paper and a pen. Well, now we've got, of course, keyboards and whatnot, but AI is also helping people too.
Well, but publishers are not very pleased with AI.
Good.
They want the human mind to be engaged, and so no AI in those books at all. What do I use? I bought a very expensive recliner, and I sit there with my laptop and pick away.
Yeah.
And I'm a terrible typist, but that's the way it's done.
Hey, well, whenever the creative juices are flowing, as long as they're flowing through your fingers and into the keyboard, you're doing all right.
Yeah.
Do you have a set time of day when you set aside, or whenever the spirit moves you?
Well, probably 6 o'clock to 11 in the morning is my productive time. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You have traveled a lot. Do you have a favorite place in all the places you've traveled?
Oh,
it's like asking you to pick your favorite child, I know.
Yeah, it really is, my favorite place. Well, I do love Saint-Malo, France. I really like that place. I've been there spent 4 winters there. It's a mild climate, like sort of similar to Vancouver. And I adore London. I've been there a dozen times probably, and so on and on. But, as I said when we were talking before, I've never been anywhere I didn't like. And over the last few years, I could only stay in the Schengen zone of Europe for 90 days, and I'd booked 5 months over there. So I had to and Romania was not yet part of the Schengen, so I went to Bucharest. And my God, I just fell in love with the place, And I've 2 years ago, I needed to find out where Sebastian Cabot had sailed on this voyage, and so I went down to Rio de la Plata in Argentina, Buenos Aires now, And again, came back thinking, my goodness, So impossible to answer that question, but I guess of places where if I would like to live even, would be London or Saint-Malo, France.
Yeah, just for the history.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Surrounded by it.
Yeah. So then the other question is, you came and settled in Medicine Hat. What was it about this little city on the prairie that captured you?
Well, it isn't the history.
There is a lot of history.
There's lots of history. My interest is more Renaissance and maybe even further back. But I was born and raised in northwest of Swift Current, Saskatchewan.
So
Been back and forth past Medicine Hat all my life. Thought it was a collection of commercial enterprises along the highway,
Never ventured off of it?
Not much. And although I worked here for a company called Crescent Drywall in 1969, I think it was. Okay. So I did get around, but 20 years old, I wasn't observing anything. And so, or at least not the downtown, I didn't appreciate what was here, So I bought this place in 2019, a condo, and so that I would sort of have an Alberta address, and then moved into it 2 years ago. And since then, I have still not committed to being a Medicine Hat resident, But since then, this little city has really grown on me. I like golf, beautiful golf courses here, and the cultural effort that's going on in Medicine Hat is really very, very impressive, and so I'm here by accident, but staying because I like it.
An accidental hatter.
Right.
We've had a few of those people that our city has captured. 2 books now. How many more in this series?
One is 50% done, and it'll be Jacques Cartier and his call it confrontation, I suppose, cultural confrontation with the indigenous people. Mm-hmm. I have also written beyond that, but the next book will be definitely, and I hope to complete it within the next year or so. Jacques Cartier.
And now the all-important question, where can we buy the books?
Well, on my website, which is victorjamesphillips.ca, you can easily find the buy button for Friesen's Press, and also all of the other distributors, Amazon, Indigo, and so on. They're all there. So you can buy it there. In Medicine Hat, I've yet to talk to one other independent bookstore, but Limited Characters has agreed to. They don't, not just with me, but they're very supportive of local authors, and so the book will be available there. But in Medicine Hat, Friesen's also, if you just go on to in Google and look up Friesen Press Bookstore, it's there, So.
Okay, so it's freely available.
Right.
Well, I thank you for the visit, and happy trails.
Thank you very much for inviting me. Pleasure.
Hey, this is Brian again, and I'd like to ask you to do a favor. We can't do this work without people like you, so if you can, please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about Bring Back the Porch.